guys, this is Shelly with Shelly Cooks. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be doing a buttery dinner roll. Okay, so this dinner roll is really simple. We have 2 cups of milk here. Now what I do is I have 2% milk, and with that 2% milk I'll put 1 cup of 2% milk and 1 cup of water. And that is rich enough for this roll. So there's 2 cups of milk. There's about 1/3 of a cup of honey here. We're going to put that in. Give that just a little bit of a stir. Just get that honey going a little bit. That's perfect. There. Now we're going to add in our yeast. And so I put in a scant tablespoon, which is about that much right there. Just a little bit short of a tablespoon. And normally you would let your yeast proof, which means you would let it sit there until it bubbled and got all foamy. But I know that my yeast is good, which is really the only purpose of proofing your yeast. So I know that my yeast is good, so I'm just going to keep going. And next I'm going to be adding in some flour. I'm using bread flour, but you can use all-purpose flour if that's what you have. It's the exact same thing. It's just that there's a little more gluten in the bread flour. So I'm going to start with just maybe, 3 cups of bread flour, and I'm going to turn my mixer on and get this going. There we go. Oh, almost forgot my egg. We're going to also crack an egg in there. There we go. So the purpose of this is just to bring it all together to see how much more flour we need. Once we've reached that stage, I will add in my salt and my butter. Okay, let's scrape it down. Make sure we've got everything on the bottom there. We've got a nice loose batter, which is what we want. Now we're going to add let's do another 2 cups of flour, because it's going to require at least that. I will not add my salt and my butter until we have the dough consistency that we like and it has mixed for a little bit. Okay, there we have 2. So guys, the one thing I want to say is when you're adding your flour to your bread, whether it's rolls or bread or whatever it is, always add less at first, because you can't take away once you've got it in there, and it will cause your bread to be very dry if it's too much flour. So guys, this is looking really good right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our mixer to a medium speed, about 2 or 3 on the KitchenAid. And we're going to let this mix, because the more that it mixes, the more hydrated the flour becomes. And even it'll look less wet and it'll come together a little more. We're probably going to need about another 1/4 cup, half a cup at the most, but I would be surprised. So let's let this mix for 5 minutes and we'll see what happens. Okay, let's just pull this up, see if we can get it. So the thing about your dough, this here is actually, I know that we have enough because it's tacky, but it's not sticking to my finger. So we have enough flour in that right now, just the way it is. Okay guys, so we've had our 5 minutes. Just going to scrape this dough off the bottom again a bit. Make sure that it gets mixed in with everything over time. There we go. So now I'm going to put this on low again, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt and 1/4 cup of softened butter. 1/4 cup of softened butter should look like that. Okay, so your butter should be soft, but not melted. Okay, here we go. We'll add the butter gradually as well. We'll get our salt in there. So salt impedes the yeast absorbing in with the flour. So I always add the salt last. That's what they say anyway. I'm not sure if that matters, but we'll just throw the butter in piece by piece. And it'll eventually all get incorporated in with the dough. This is a 6-quart professional 600 KitchenAid, supposedly. I had the 7 before, and I purchased this on Facebook Marketplace, and I will tell you, it doesn't even compare to my old 7 at all. Right about now, it should be starting to heat up. Actually, I'm surprised it's not. So let's turn that up just a little bit to get that butter in there, and then we'll turn it back down. There we go. There's the butter all in. Just gotta pull that down for a bit. Put it all in there. And we're gonna put this back on and let this go for about another 4 minutes on the low temperature. We're gonna let this go for another 4 minutes on the about 2 setting. This butter will eventually all work its way in. It's also, when you're mixing it like that, it's developing the gluten when we mix it like that. So let's test. We've got a little bit sticking to our fingers, but not much. So I am going to put maybe a tablespoon of flour in that. Let's just sprinkle it all around the sides. And let's try that now. Getting to the end of it. So I always say when making bread, guys, it's more important that you see the texture of the dough than what I'm putting in it. Because everything impacts how this is going to, whether it's wet, whether it's not. You know, it could be the size of your egg, it could be the temperature in the house, the humidity in the house. That all determines how much liquid or flour you'll need in your bread. So just watch the consistency that we're looking for. I think that's good. I'm going to pull this up off the bottom. And there's some loose flour I see in there, so I'm just going to let that get worked in. Turn it on and let that get worked in. And that's exactly what we're looking for. Everything is off the bottom now. Let's see if it's still, no, it's not. It's tacky, but it's not sticking. So this is exactly what we needed, okay? Let's take this off of this. We'll get rid of this mixer. So I have a bowl here, guys, my trusty little sprayer thing. And I'm just going to put some there, oil, rub it all around in the bowl. You don't need a whole lot. Now we're going to take our bench scraper, take this out, put it on our counter. There we go. There. So I'm going to just put a tiny bit of spray of oil on the counter and give this a little knead. Not much, though. Remember what I said, the less flour you can use and still have a nice soft ball, the better your bread will be. It won't be dry. So just that little bit of kneading brings that together beautifully. We have a nice ball there. Turn it in upside down, move it around a little bit to get the oil on that. That's perfect. Now we're going to put a little bit of saran wrap on this. It's on there. And I'm going to cover it with a clean tea towel and just put it right on top of my stove there. So I'm going to be cooking today So the heat from this oven will keep that plenty warm. So just right on top of there. And that's it. We'll come back when that's risen and we need to shape it into rolls. Okay guys, so here we are with our dough. So I'm just going to put a little bit of oil on my workbench because I don't want to, we're just going to get some of these big bubbles out. And I don't want to add more flour to these. So there we go. See some of these bubbles? I'm just going to see if I can get some of them out. They'll just be blisters on it. But anyway, neither here nor there. So I have my scale here, and I typically will weigh my dinner rolls out. And I'll weigh them out anywhere from 70 to 80 grams. So that's about 90. It's about 60. That's 70. I'll do 80 because that's 77. So let me see. This is an 80-gram roll right here. So there we go. Perfect. And I am just going to keep going weighing these out. And then when I'll show you how to shape them. Okay guys, so I just got a little bit of flour here. Put on my workbench. You're going to take our dinner rolls. And you're just going to form it into a ball. Just tuck it under. Tuck it under, tuck it under. And then you're just going to, it may actually be better on a surface that doesn't have the flour. Roll it in the palm of your hand. Like, can you see this? Like, cup it in the palm of your hand, and it'll create a perfect ball. So I'm going to do 3 across in my pan that I have here lined with parchment. And I think I'll do 4 or 5 down. We'll see. Okay, so here we go again. It's really easy. There you go. So you always want to create the tension on the bottom. I think I need a little flour on that one. So you always want to create the tension on the bottom for the rise. And what that means is that when you have the tension, the top is tight and you have tension on it, it will give it a nice rise without cracking or breaking. So, there we go. Normally I would little sprinkle of flour. So you want to put it in the flour so it's not sticky, like this. And then you're going to move it away from the flour because you actually want tension on it when you're rolling it in the ball. If you put it on the flour, it'll just slide around. Okay, there we go. The other thing you can do if you're not comfortable rolling is just keep tucking under like that. It's really simple. See? We have some bubbles there. I'm going to put a bit more flour because it is sticking to my hands a little bit. And there we go. You need to leave some space in the, leave some space in the pan for them to expand. Okay guys, I just heated up a few tablespoons of butter here. I'm just going to lightly brush it on these. It's just, this is really just to keep the plastic from sticking to them. But the rest of it, we will brush on them when they come out of the oven while they're still nice and hot, the rest of this butter. So, brush the butter on now. Going to cover it up with some plastic wrap and a tea towel like I did for it to do its first rise. And then we are going to bake them off when they double in size at a 350 oven. So I hope you guys will give these a try. You can see how easy it is to make them. Just a few ingredients, and it really is, especially if you have a stand mixer. It's very, very simple to make. Okay guys, I just pulled our dinner rolls out of the oven. The butter that I melted is hardening up a bit, but that's fine. It'll soften up on top of these nice hot dinner rolls. So, didn't take us long at all to make these. Most of the time is waiting for the rise. It's well worth it if you're going to be in the kitchen for the day or even in the house for the day doing something else. You can do these and just keep an eye on them. The actual getting the ingredients together to do them and mixing is so easy. Whoops. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give us a thumbs up, folks. And like and subscribe. They're really hot, so I don't want to have one yet, but you can see how nice and fluffy they are and light. So give them a try. In the notes down below or the comments, just let us know what you thought of the recipe when you try them. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.